If you're building a business, you are in the fight of your life. Every day, your back's against the wall, your mind is under fire, and you are constantly pushing past your limits. But here's the truth that very few people talk about. You can't win the fight if you're weak, mentally or physically. And that's why I believe if you are an entrepreneur and you do not lift weights, you are leaving massive potential on the table. This isn't just about your fitness. It's about focus, fortitude, and fueling your leadership. In this video, I'm breaking down the surprising reasons why every founder should hit the gym, lift heavy, and treat strength training as non-negotiable. We'll talk about mental clarity, stress resilience, identity building, performance optimization, and yeah, there is science behind all of it. Being a founder isn't just a job. It's like a full contact sport. It's 24/7 problem solving, rejection handling, decision making, and future building all rolled into one. You're not just building a product, you're building a team, you're building a brand, you're building a legacy. And when that pressure compounds, and it will, you will need more than caffeine and spreadsheets to keep going. You need a system that makes you physically tougher, mentally stronger, and emotionally more grounded. And that's where lifting comes in. I'm not saying that you need to be a bodybuilder, but what I am saying is if you want to win at this game, you need strength. And I'm not just talking about inner strength. I'm talking actual, literal strength. Because when you train your body, you train your brain. When you push through the weight, you build the grit it takes to keep moving through the chaos of startup life. So let's break down the reasons why lifting weights might be the most important habit that you adopt as a founder. Number one, lifting builds mental toughness on demand. Every rep that you grind out under a barbell is more than a physical movement. It is a mental rep too. You're not just lifting weights, you're negotiating with your limits. Every set is a conversation between comfort and challenge. And when you choose the hard thing again and again, your brain takes notes. Now, this is what I call trained adversity, intentionally stepping into stress so that you can learn to operate under pressure. And you feel it whenever that bar gets heavy. Your legs maybe start to shake and your breath shortens. Your brain wants you to stop, but you stay in it. You push, finish that rep, and you learn not to flinch. And that composure under tension transfers. When you're pitching to investors who are skeptical, when a key customer churns, when your team hits a wall and looks at you for clarity, those moments require emotional control. They demand a version of you that doesn't panic, that doesn't fold, that doesn't bail whenever it's uncomfortable. And lifting is where you train that version of yourself. It's controlled stress, repeated deliberately. It teaches your brain to stay calm under pressure, to regulate fear with focus, to stay present when your instincts want to retreat. And over time, this practice rewires how you show up, and not just in the gym, but also in your company. You become someone who doesn't shy away from hard things, someone who leans into the tough calls, the uncomfortable conversations, and the 12-hour grind sessions. You don't avoid the storm, you walk right into it. And that is a golden mindset for an entrepreneur. Because in startups, resilience is currency. Investors look for it, teams rally around it, and markets reward it. Lifting weights won't write your pitch deck, but it will shape you into the person that delivers it. It will forge a founder who doesn't flinch no matter how heavy things get. If this hits home, you're in the right place. I've got plenty more content coming your way designed to help you get stronger, think sharper, and lead like the founder that you are meant to be. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you never miss a drop. No fluff, just real strategies for real leadership. Number two, it is a non-negotiable stress release valve. Startups are pressure cookers. As a founder, you're constantly under siege. Fundraising, hiring, managing deadlines, obsessing over churn, and praying that your runway holds. It's lonely, it's unrelenting, and the stress doesn't just visit, it moves in and sets up camp. And it's understood that if you don't create a healthy outlet for that pressure, it will find its own exit, usually through poor sleep or frayed relationships or emotional volatility or just straight up burnout. That's why lifting weights isn't just about aesthetic or strength, it is survival. Strength training gives you something every founder needs, a pressure release valve. It's 60 minutes and nobody needs anything from you. No pitch decks, no Slack pings, no urgent investor emails. It's just you, your breath, and the weight in front of you. In a world that constantly pulls at your attention, this is personal time, a controlled environment where you can let the tension out. And there's science behind why this all works so well. Studies show that resistance training significantly reduces cortisol, which is the body's primary stress hormone, while increasing endorphins and dopamine. One study published by Frontiers in Psychology found that just 30 minutes of moderate resistance training can lower anxiety symptoms by 20% or more. That means every set you grind through is literally altering your neurochemistry. Cortisol drops, endorphins surge, brain fog lifts, and as a result, you think clearer, you sleep deeper, and you lead better. It's therapy that you can measure in reps and plates. And unlike passive coping mechanisms like doom scrolling or venting or caffeine binges, lifting builds you while it soothes you. You walk out of the gym not just less stressed, but more focused, more energized, and mentally sharper. This isn't about gym bro culture. It's about founder longevity. Because when you train your body to process stress physically, you stop carrying it emotionally. And that calm, that centeredness becomes your competitive edge. So the next time you feel the wall closing in, don't reach for your phone, reach for the barbell. Number 3, focus, clarity, and cognitive gains. Weightlifting doesn't just forge strength in your body, it sharpens your mind. We live in a world obsessed by productivity hacks and nootropics and AI-driven decision tools, but one of the most powerful mental upgrades that you can give yourself as a founder is picking up a weight. Resistance training has been shown to boost executive function, working memory, attention span, and even creative problem solving. Research from the Journal of Applied Sociology found that consistent strength training can significantly increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. That's a molecule that supports neuroplasticity, helping your brain grow, adapt, and stay sharp under stress. It is also linked to mood regulation and cognitive function. So translation, your brain literally gets fitter when you lift. And as a founder, that cognitive edge is everything. So if you want to think more strategically about product direction or make tighter decisions faster or write clearer investor updates, you want to start by training your body. Your mind will follow. Because the paradox is that focus isn't found by staring harder at the screen. It's found in motion. Some of my best ideas haven't come during team stand-ups or deep dive planning sessions. They arrived mid-set in the quiet between lifts, when I've stepped away from the noise and into the rhythm of movement. And that's when the breakthroughs happen. Lifting acts like a mental clearinghouse. You may walk in with stress, fog, and scattered thoughts, and as your heart rate climbs and the reps stack up, your thinking crystallizes. The signal rises above the noise. Solutions start to reveal themselves. This isn't just anecdotal. A 2019 study in NeuroImage showed that resistance training improves connectivity in the brain's default mode network, the system linked to introspection, memory, and high-level planning. In a world where everyone's trying to work harder and faster, lifting teaches you to think better. Not everything has to be solved at the keyboard. Sometimes clarity isn't something that you force, it's something that you lift your way into. So if you're feeling stuck, if your strategy's murky and the next move is unclear, try going to the gym. Your mind will thank you. Number 4, it builds identity and self-trust. Every time you step under the bar, you're not just building muscle, you're building your identity. Because every rep is a vote for the person that you want to become. When you train consistently, you're reinforcing a deep internal narrative. I'm someone who shows up. I'm someone who keeps promises. I'm someone who does hard things even when nobody is watching. And that's not about fitness. That's about character. What most people miss about entrepreneurship is identity work. You're not just building a product. You're becoming the kind of person capable of leading a company. That internal transformation matters just as much, if not more, than your metrics. You want customers to trust you. You want your team to follow you. You want investors to back you. But none of that happens if you don't believe in yourself first. And that's where strength training becomes much more than a workout. It becomes a mirror, a proving ground, a daily opportunity to stack up evidence that you're becoming the person your company needs you to be. Because in the gym, the feedback loop is pure. There's no market timing, no gatekeepers, no external luck. You set the weight, you do the work, you get the result. And when you see yourself getting stronger, both literally and metaphorically, you start trusting yourself more. You stop second guessing. You stop shrinking from challenges. You start acting like somebody who can figure it out. And when you're starting out, lifting reconnects you with the humility of being a beginner. You remember what it feels like to suck at something and to improve. You remember that progress isn't linear, but it is inevitable if you stay consistent. That mindset bleeds into everything. How you pitch, how you lead, how you weather storms. Because when you train your identity to be rooted in action, not outcomes, you become dangerous in the best way possible. You stop waiting to feel confident and you start earning it. And that's what separates founders who break from founders who break through. Number 5, you lead better when you feel better. Let's talk energy. Not hustle, not grind, real sustainable energy. Because here's the reality. You can't lead well if you're drained. You can't innovate if your brain feels foggy. You can't inspire your team or show up at home if you're constantly running on fumes. Startups demand high performance leadership, and high performance starts with your body. Lifting weights isn't just just about your physique. It's a strategic investment in your capacity. It trains your metabolism, boosts your energy systems, improves insulin sensitivity, and helps you regulate your nervous system. Strength training has been shown to increase deep sleep duration, elevate dopamine, aka motivation, and increase testosterone and growth hormone levels, which are crucial for confidence, focus, and recovery. In short, your body becomes a better engine. You walk into the office sharper, more grounded, and more present. You're not just surviving the day, you are owning it, and people feel that. Leadership isn't just what you say, it's the energy that you bring into the room. When you walk in with strength, your team picks up on it. You're calmer under pressure. You're more decisive in chaos. You're more magnetic in meetings. And that presence will build trust, and it will set a tone. And don't overlook this, because the mental spillover is real. When you feel strong, you act strong. When your body is steady, your judgment improves. When your energy is high, your default isn't reactivity, it is intention. Plus, the gym becomes a place to recharge on purpose. Instead of coping with stress by numbing out, by scrolling, overworking, or zoning out, you're actively building the fuel that you'll need to lead well, think clearly, and execute ruthlessly. As a founder, your physical health isn't a side quest. It's the engine that powers everything. So if you want to be a better boss, more visionary CEO, a more engaged partner or parent, start with the barbell. Because when you feel better, you lead better. And when you lead better, everything around you levels up. Number 6, it creates structure in a chaotic life. Startups are chaos by design. One day, you're pitching a new investor. The next day, a fire pops up out of nowhere. Priorities shift by the hour. Calendars implode. And just when you think you found stability, something else breaks. Welcome to the founder's life. But amidst all of that volatility, you need something stable, something predictable, something that is yours. And that's where the gym comes in. The barbell doesn't move unless you do. The workout doesn't care if your demo bombed or your churn spiked. It's the one place in your week that does not change. And that kind of structure is a superpower. Lifting weights at the same time on the same days with the same intent creates a rhythm for your life. A baseline you can return to no matter how crazy things get. A ritual that grounds you in routine when everything else feels like whiplash. And that structure doesn't just stay in the gym, it bleeds into everything else. You start sleeping better because your body is actually tired. You start eating better because your brain craves fuel and not dopamine hits. You start planning better because you built the discipline to prioritize. It's a domino effect of self-respect and consistency. You keep one promise to yourself, and that momentum starts spilling into the rest of your life. In fact, research in behavioral psychology shows that building one keystone habit, like consistent training, can trigger positive behavioral shifts across unrelated areas, like time management, stress regulation, and even financial discipline. So if you're feeling stuck or scattered, or like you've consistently been in reactive mode, don't try to overhaul your entire life. Start with iron, because reps don't lie and routine does not flinch. And even in a world where you can control most outcomes, you can control this. And that one stable pillar might be the very thing that gives you the momentum you need to rebuild everything else. Number 7, you're playing the long game, so train for longevity. Let's zoom out for a second. Yes, startups move fast. The pressure, the pivots, the endless push towards traction, it's all urgent. But the truth is, legacy takes time. The average startups exit in 7 to 10 years. That's a decade of emotional highs and brutal lows and sleepless nights and sustained decision making under stress. You're not building for a sprint, you're building for an ultra marathon. So if you torch your health in year 2, what are you really building? You can't scale your company if you can't sustain yourself. That's why strength training isn't just about what it gives you today, it's about what it protects for tomorrow. It improves bone density, which is crucial as you age, especially for high stress professionals. It maintains posture, which counteracts the damage of long hours at a desk or hunched over a laptop. And it balances key hormones like growth hormone and insulin, which is vital for energy and focus and mood. It's not just exercise, it is insurance for the next decade of your life. You want to show up sharp and decisive and energetic when your company hits Series B and Series C. You want to be in command in the room whenever you're negotiating for an acquisition. And that future version of you starts by training now, because nothing will sabotage your long-term potential like chronic burnout, poor mobility, or a system that crashes whenever the stakes get the highest. And let's be real, startups don't get easier, they get heavier. More responsibility, more people counting on you, more complexity. So just like you scale your back end for future traffic, you need to scale yourself for future demands. Train today so that your body doesn't become the bottleneck tomorrow. Because if you're building for the long haul, build the body that can carry it. So lifting weights won't magically make your startup succeed, but but it will make you stronger. And that strength will spill into everything. Better focus, sharper decisions, more resilience when it counts. The barbell will build the person that can build the business. And if this hits home, check out my video on how cutting sugar will make you a better founder and CEO. You'll learn the nutritional side of peak performance. I'll see you over there.